And what is up? Welcome back. It's Friday night, and you're here with us with the Average Boys podcast. It is 9 p.m., and you're here for all your gaming, nerdy, and film news. I am here with my co-host, Trigger. Trigger, what is up, my dude?
Not much, man. I'm tired. I've been moving offices from where we were in San Juan, and we're moving to like North McAllen. And yeah, dude, I've just been on the go since like pretty much like Sunday or Monday, and it has been just non fucking stop. And I'm actually going back tomorrow, like tomorrow morning, kind of just like just take care of some like last minute things and stuff like that. And then yeah, dude, like we should be pretty good and pretty set. But other than that, dude, like it's been a pretty slow week for me, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a pretty wild week, man. We got right back into our summer weather. So it's been hitting back into the high 90s, maybe hundreds now. Mosquitoes and flies are starting to come back.
Right, them skaters.
Yeah, and the skaters and everything. What's up, John? How you doing, my brother? Amaras, how you doing, man? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, that weather's kind of kicking in. I at the gym, we felt it like, man, dude, early in the week where everybody just felt gassed, man. It was one of those things that kind of pulled through. I don't know if it was I don't know if it's the humidity or maybe the pollen and allergies that are catching everybody, but man, we were all exhausted by Monday night. We were there. I did mitts with like 2 people, dude. And I was like super exhausted, super exhausted. So it's been a week of catching up, man. It really has been.
Yeah.
Even in the nerd news, man, we were talking about it earlier where there really hasn't been a lot going on. I mean, but the thing is like in the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of buildup with, Marvel and DC and all this other stuff. And I think we're coming to that time where all the bigger franchises are coming to this kind of like chill time that they kind of given enough and they're waiting until their next thing. I know that DC fandom's going to be coming up.
Yeah.
Then I think Marvel's doing their D23, which is like a big I guess like all the investors and all those people. I forgot if it's called like D23 or D22. It's like a big con, but it's where they show all the upcoming events, but it's all the promoters and all the people who are investors in the franchises and stuff like that.
So D23, that's for Disney.
Yeah.
That is supposed to be. It's actually in September now of 2022.
It's going to be coming up in 2022, right?
Yeah. So E3 is coming out next month.
Yeah, I know E3 is coming out too.
Well, not next month. I mean, granted, tomorrow's next month, right? But I'm talking June. It's going to be on the 26th, or actually on the 12th of June through the 15th.
Oh, very good.
And that's, I mean, that's going to be a huge talking point.
Yeah, we'll
us.
be covering a lot of stuff for that too with the Average Boys podcast here, and man, we may even jump on it live for a little bit and try to get our live reactions from things that are coming up. Maybe even do like a kind of like our own casual live reporting, sit down for it.
So it starts on a Saturday, so we can definitely do that Saturday.
Kind of like yeah, I think it'd be pretty fun just to kind of get our actual live reactions and watch it with everybody here on the comment sections and everybody jumping in with us and checking it out. Yeah, man, but it's been a pretty random week. I read somewhere earlier too that there was this shit, I don't know what it was, but that's where I heard D23 in the first place. It popped in on a news article that I was reading about. One of the executives at Marvel, or one of the directors that's at Marvel, was saying that we haven't even literally heard all the planning for 2022 coming up, like all the films that they've even mentioned. Not to mention the ones that we already know and have seen, and the ones that we're waiting for also. So like we have like Loki, of course, we have the Spider-Man franchise coming up soon. We have Black Widow coming up. We have the Eternals. It just so happens that the director of the Eternals just won an Oscar for her film called Nomadland. So you have like now with the Eternals coming out, it's going to be very, from what I heard, they're really respecting the Jack Kirby storyline. And you have someone with a really nice vision that just might bring the Oscar style cinematics that we've been wanting for a serious film when it comes to Marvel films. I mean, knowing that, on a serious note, when it comes to Marvel, I think the Winter Soldier has still kind of has that top brass, like when it comes to how that film's theme was.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the other ones are still, you know, very magical or superpower based or cosmic or something, where that one felt very Mission Impossible, very grounded, very like almost like you can you can kind of feel it easier. You kind of, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but it's more relatable. I guess you could say it's more relatable because it's a grounded superheroes and stuff. Um, but yeah, dude, I'm really excited because, you know, as we know about the Eternals are this old school kind of like almost godly Greek pantheon of superheroes, like way back throughout history.
Well, they're technically the original humans.
Mm-hmm.
So they're so for like anyone who actually like really concentrated or like gave a shit about comic books back in the day, because they haven't really done anything with the Eternals in like forever.
Yeah.
And the Eternals are basically the first experiment of the Celestials here on Earth. And when they made the Eternals, like the race of them kind of branched off into two. So you have the
Deviants.
Eternals and then you have the Deviants. And then you kind of had like your humans, the ones who had like nothing special about them. The only cool thing is that they had an X gene that would activate sometime in history. Like, well, sometime in history, it was going to activate. They just never knew when. And so, like, that was kind of their thing. And so, like, fast forward thousands upon thousands of years, humanity. There you go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting story, man, because like the Eternal story is, I mean, you have to kind of know your comic books to know the Eternals. Like a lot of people, I know that there's, I mean, I think we always talk about it when they introduce a random ass character and the internet goes crazy, and you and I call bullshit on like 70% of people that know who those characters are.
Like
Valentina,
like the Madam Hydra thing.
Yeah,
like Madam Hydra. We're like,
yeah,
no, it's not.
And we were like, the guys, stop getting excited. There's no reason, man. Like, we know you don't know who this is.
Okay.
The Eternals, I kind of feel like are the same way, but I have faith in Marvel, like what they did with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're kind of like the cooler Inhumans. That's the best way that I can put it. They're the cooler Inhumans.
And I think that the reason why they wanted to bring these out was I think this is their ultimate backup plan if the X-Men weren't going to work. Well, or if the Inhumans now.
I think, I mean, I want to say that they were always going to bring them out, mostly because of like you kind of need some like you kind of need something to feature in the cosmic landscape.
Yeah, of
and I was really hoping that they were going to do that with the Xandarians, and when they brought out the Nova Corps, and they did nothing with it.
Yeah, that was very disappointing.
I was like, bro, come on. And for me, other than Iron Man, Nova is like my second favorite. Like,
well, I mean, this goes back to what I was telling you. I think like last week when we were talking about the time stream and all that stuff. Like now that Loki didn't go back with the Tesseract and took off at that moment, and Thanos isn't supposed to be there anymore in that history and all that stuff, you do have a huge possibility of bringing Nova out in the way that they wanted to originally. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe that in Endgame, we were supposed to get some casual Nova Corps member.
We were supposed to get Nova.
Yeah, we were supposed to get Nova.
We don't writer.
But it wasn't going to be like very, very in detail. They were just going to introduce him because he was going to do that.
The whole thing is that like his original cameo was supposed to be in that like fly through when they're coming at Thanos. That's where he was supposed to make his like cameo appearance.
And I kind of feel like that's like the Justice League when Darkseid.
Yeah,
kind of like the Green Lantern appearance, right?
Yeah, but I would have been fine with that because
I would have been good with that too.
Yeah, because at least you're giving him like, okay, cool. Now you're saying for sure he's there.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Really, they didn't show any Nova. No, the Novas were all because they didn't die with the snap. They were wiped out by Thanos.
They were officially wiped out in like prior to Infinity War. Because that's the first stone that he gets is the Power Stone. And that's on Xandar. So you know that he wiped out Xandar.
100%. And it wasn't like one of those like 50% shits. Like
yeah,
he
like,
fucking,
oh no, you for sure know he took down Xandar.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Like, and you know, canonically speaking, that's granted, it's not Thanos who did it, but Xandar was destroyed, and there was only one Nova left.
Yeah, that was the thought.
And that was Richard Rider. So I mean, they could very well still set him up, and I still hope that they do. Because the snap is still a very prominent event in what's going on. And so especially with the snap being such a prominent event, it's going to set up obviously a lot of things for phase 4.
Yes,
so it's still going to have to be mentioned regardless.
What do they call it? They call it the blip, or what do they call it in?
They do that in Spider-Man. They call it the blip in Spider-Man. Like, originally, I remember when right after Infinity War came, if I remember correctly, they called it it wasn't the blip. It was like the devastation or something like that. It was something very dark, and I loved it because I was like, oh, cool! Like they're giving like actual severity to like this, because I mean, obviously, not everyone knew that it was a snap that is what did all that. I doubt like Captain America and what's left of the Avengers are going to disclose like, oh yeah, all we had to do is just not let him snap his fingers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, but then again, it does, like you said, it does kind of give the severity of the situation on how powerful these people are, right? Like at the ending of Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sam gives that speech to the politician, and he says, "You're just as as powerful as a mad god, or as a
radical terrorist."
What did he call Carly? Like a deranged teenager or something like that?
A superpowered teenager.
Yeah.
You have just as much power as a superpowered teenager or a mad god.
Yeah, it puts into perspective like how masterful Marvel is at writing stories and making it all kind of like whimsically come together. Like now I'm really excited to see the Loki story even more than I was. I was already excited, but now I'm even more because the Netflix shows have been doing amazing. From these two, WandaVision and Winter Soldier, being so dramatically different, they're both awesome with just a couple of episodes. And of course, they probably film it as a full movie, like the timing that they kind of put into it, and they break it down into episodes, but like masterful. But now it's like you look at the Loki trailer, and the Loki trailer, they put some cash behind that one.
Oh yeah.
You look at the comparison of the way the production was for WandaVision, where it looked like it was on a set, that they made the city on a set kind of thing. Then you look at Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it looks like they were actually in London filming a bunch of parts, and it looks the spot. But like, man, you look at the Loki production of the CG quality, and it looks like they're on different planets, like the way it was in Infinity War and in Endgame. Like that one purple scene when they're sitting there, and it looks like Scarlet, like Black Widow. Remember we talked about that? Like that one part looks super cosmic, dude. Just with the color and the color grading of the shot and everything. It's so good. I'm just super excited for what's coming, man. Super excited. How's it going, everybody? Let me say what's up to everybody in the comment section really, really quick. Robert, John, Kyle, what's up, our dudes? How you guys doing? Everybody that's out there on YouTube and Twitch, thank you guys for tuning in so much. Robert says, catching up real quick. I just want to say what a great UFC pay-per-view that the past week was. Dude, he is not lying.
Dude,
George Masvidal versus Usman was a nut. Dude, it was crazy. Rose Namajunas put on such a beautiful show. Man,
the story amazing. She's just an amazing fighter, dude.
The story of Rose Namajunas is such a beautiful story. Like, Justin Gaethje came out and said, now you guys know why at the ending of the season of The Ultimate Fighter, I was in tears watching when Rose won, because she has she has fought perseverance and she's been through so much. And I'm like, dude, you know what? Like, you see it every time that girl goes out. Like, you know, internally she's fighting with everything she's ever feared in her life. Like, she uses that to such a great advantage, and she's super amazing at it. And I wish her nothing but the best as a champion. Usman came out, fucking took George Masvidal's soul with that fakey 1-2
punch, dude.
Damn, man. And you know what's really weird is, like, we were talking about it at the gym, and I just feel like George Masvidal, yeah, I mean, he's an animal, dude. Like, George Masvidal is not in that position because he's weak or anything like that, or he just talks or nothing. Because we've had people before in the past, you know, Conor McGregor was one of them, where he kind of like built this legacy built on the gift of gab, like going out there with the silver tongue and speaking and selling the show and making numbers happen, you know, putting it out there really, really well. But like, man, dude, George Masvidal has done this for years, man, years and years and years, and has been through the ringer and has finally got his markings up, and he's up there making the money that he deserves. But he just started, like, I think he just started to fall into his own hype, where he just got too comfortable with thinking that that he was immortal and that he was untouchable. And he didn't respect Usman as if he was a champion. And he was over there telling people, like, man, Usman's punches, they're real soft. Like, I'm like, dude, like, you can't be sleeping on people like that, especially like a guy like Usman, man. And now we got Chris Weidman with a broken leg. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it was a wild fight, wild pay-per-view, super, super good call. Kyle, what's up?
And now it's set, and now he's saying that it'll be 8 weeks before he stands.
Yeah, it won't take him too long. I mean, they already did the surgery. They put the pins. All they're waiting for is the bone to mend, and then from there he should be back on it. That was like what was that one kickboxer dude? What was his fucking name? He used to fight for Pride. He's a real big guy that fought Brock Lesnar. I'll remember his name later. Yeah, he broke his shin too, and like a couple
Anderson Silva.
Yeah, well, Anderson Silva, yeah, too, but he was a little bit older. The other guy was a little bit younger, and he was up already, like, walking in 6 weeks.
Yeah, so was Silva. It only took him about 6 to 8 weeks before he was up walking on it.
Yeah, and then like
I remember seeing that when it happened live, and at the time I was
Alistair Overeem. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah, Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, when he broke his leg.
I remember when it happened to Silva. I'm not gonna lie, man. I laughed. I was like, "Skedaddle, skedoodle, your leg is."
Oh, fuck no, dude. I don't. Like in the MMA world, dude. Every fighter, you never fucking wish that shit on nobody else, dude. Yeah, every fucking fighter.
That was kind of mean, but
every fighter tightens their butthole, screams, and makes that little like fuck face. Like nobody ever prays for that. Not even on our worst enemies are we ever like, I hope he breaks this fucking. No, dude, we never say that shit. That's like the worst thing. The worst thing, because the bad thing about that type of a break is you don't know it breaks until you step back on it.
Yeah,
like that's the worst fucking thing ever to really ever wish on someone. Like, to know that the guy snapped his leg and he doesn't know it's broken until the leg comes back, and then he puts pressure and then the bones rub. Like the bones put it. That's fucking horrible, dude. Because the initial break, if he was to break it, lay down automatically, there's a lot of saving grace that you could do. But when it steps back on it and you put pressure on it, the bone stabs into the meat. And you know it shards in there and stuff, dude. It's a horrible situation. That's why I'm like, you'll never hear someone go like, "Good man, fuck that dude." Like nope, nobody, dude. Even when Anderson Silva broke his leg, I was like, dude, he could have been the worst guy on the planet, and nobody would have wished that on him, dude. Well, no MMA fighter, like, But yeah, dude, it was that was wild, man. It was so wild because, of course, like Robert mentions in the comments, it's the same thing that happened to Anderson Silva when it happened to him. And it's like, yeah, when you fight, the thing is if you go back and look at that fight, Chris Weidman throws that kick so wild, dude, like just so loose and long and open, like it's super telegraphed. Like the guy that he was fighting, I fucking forgot it. I know that dude just off the top of my head. You could see where he kind of like checks the shin super, super well. Like he puts it out and just perfect fucking like step out. But yeah, man, our hearts and prayers, of course. I hope everybody's hearts and prayers go out to Chris Weidman and his healing. I got the hiccups. I don't know what's wrong with me. I apologize.
Uriah Hall.
Oh yeah, Uriah Hall, man. Spinning Hook Kick himself, man, Mr. Spinning Hook Kick, the Ultimate Fighter TV show, or actually in the series where you go out, I think it's the Contender series. He like spinning hook kick someone practically to death, dude. And you know, Uriah Hall too, man. If I'm not mistaken, there was a fight that he tore his big toe bone out. Oof. Like, yeah, his fucking bone was like shoved out of the toe, and he was freaking out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, injuries happen, man. It's the name of the sport. I think, as a matter of fact, our hearts and prayers go out to that young man this past week in the boxing that died.
So
there was a young boxer that died.
Yeah, some
Argentina or something like that.
Israeli or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was an Olympic boxer. It
was an amateur boxer.
Yeah.
And you know what? Actually, speaking of Uriah Hall, that fight now makes him the only fighter in history to ever win without throwing a single punch.
Wow, shit! I don't know that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because it happened, I guess, like in the first round. Because I didn't see that fight. I was just kind of catching snippets and stuff like that, and then when I saw the Weidman thing, I was like,
"Oh wow, man!
Ouch!"
Yeah. And what do you think? Robert also put up here. What do you think of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier's last episode was going to be called Captain America and the White Wolf, but they dropped it last minute? I don't think it's necessary. I don't think the whole White Wolf thing is necessary at all, actually.
I like that they're kind of giving him like a new persona. Mm-hmm. Because that's what they were calling him, like at the end of what was it? At the end of Black Panther, they're calling him the White Wolf.
That's what they called him on the when he was living in Wakanda.
Yeah. So I mean, it's cool. It's better than being the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, because the whole thing is like
how he's left behind.
If I'm not mistaken, the director of the show went off and said in an interview that, well, he's not the Winter Soldier anymore.
Yeah,
that's who he was, and now he's trying to be this whole new person. But do I think he's going to take up the name White Wolf as his like superhero name? No, I don't really think so. He usually just goes by Bucky. It's literally just Bucky. So I think it's cool. I think the reference is all right. I don't think it's super necessary, but yeah, we'll see what they do. The Falcon and Winter Soldier did leave a good taste in our mouth for what's coming up. Of course, like I still feel really like torn between the idea of them Marvel still doing that to like an original diverse character that already had establishment. Mm-hmm. Like I was having a conversation with a friend of mine at the gym the other day, and I was talking to him about it. He comes from he's a black person of the community, right? And down here in the Valley, there is a really minority of African American people, the black community down here in the Valley. But it's super cool because a lot more people I feel down here are a lot more accepting of diverse cultures, because it's always been the Hispanic culture, right? So like for us to see different cultures, we want to experience things like that. We want to experience different cultures. So we were having a conversation because he likes to listen to the show, actually. So that makes me happy because he's like, "Hey, dude, I've been listening to your show, dude. I'm really digging it." And he's liking all the stuff we talk about.
Oh yeah.
And I was telling him that, it's really, really cool that they've chosen someone like the Falcon to take up the mantle of Captain America. But I feel bad because it's almost like a piece of history that they could have preserved and pushed farther by building the Falcon better. Because instead of renaming him as Captain America, like the Falcon was actually one of the first black characters in comic book history. And he's been established throughout all of this time that even now he's out there doing super great things still with his character. You know what I mean? But for him to take up the mantle of Captain America, it kind of like it's overbearing on his name sometimes, where the name Captain America is synonymous to a person of that, like the original Steve Rogers. So I don't know, like I'm still kind of torn on it. I do, and it's like we talked about last week, like it's very classy the way that they did it in the show compared to the comic book. because in the comic book it was very like, I think I saw this comment about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and on it was floating around like on TikTok and on Instagram and stuff like that, where someone posted up like, man, I hate movies that always put the black man dealing with racism or something like that. Why can't they ever have us fighting dragons or demons or things like that, right? And it's like, well, you know what? Like, it's kind of true. Like, if you think about it, most of the time when you create superheroes of any other color or origin, they have to somewhat always fight against racism more than threats. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel real bad because it's just like, yeah, the idea of more representation for characters like us is important. But the thing is not only do we need representation by actually having people of color and minorities in comic books, but we need better stories for characters like us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I still feel kind of torn from the comic book era when it first came out. But I do, like I said last week, I do like what the Falcon and Winter Soldier did for the television show. They really, really flipped it to where it feels more real in the sense of how he takes the mantle up. So, yeah. So I dig it. I dig it. But yeah. Hello, how's it going? I hope everybody's doing good. Let's go ahead and see what's up. What do we got coming up, Triggs? So what do we got in gaming news?
Gaming news. So a couple days ago, Monster Hunter Rise had an nice update, man. Fixing some stuff, making giving us a little bit more content. As a matter of fact, a new mission just came out that all you have to do is just kill a Tentrodon, and that's it, and which isn't even all that hard. And if you do, and once you do that, you get the ninjutsu emoji or gesture.
Oh, cool, dude. So yeah, so Monster Hunter Rise is more Japanese samurai ninja based, right?
Well, this time it is. Other times it's like medieval. Other times it's like Celtic. Like there's like different
culturals.
Like cultures that they like take from and stuff like that, or like the villages that you end up in. This one is very very Japanese, Asian.
Very cool. Very cool. Cool. And then they added they added 3 new monsters. So the thing about Monster Hunter is it's very much like the original ways of like Destiny. What is it? What's that other game that I'm always fucking playing? I can't even remember off the top of my head. Borderlands. It's very loot based game. Like you go around, you kind of go through the same areas, but there's always constant different opportunities for you and different targets that you have to take. And you end up creating these really nice armors that are in the games, and you just kind of loot and keep going. I think looting games are where it's at right now, but it's a little bit more MMORPG kind of thing rather than a first-person shooter like most battle royales. So yeah, I have Monster Hunter. I haven't played it since I would say about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I went back on Warzone. But Monster Hunter is pretty fun, man. It's fun with a group of people. It's very hard to play with if you're with friends because you don't really have the opportunity to be in conversation with them because they do not have like lobbies or microphone talk. Everything is through in-game. So if you do Monster Hunter and you have a group of friends with you, I recommend doing it through Discord. Like setting up a voice chat through Discord. Is that the way you do it, Tricks?
I actually haven't played with anyone that I know online. When I do missions that happen to like that are online, I kind of just get a bunch of randos, and I honestly I'm not gonna say that I carry because like my gear is not all that good, but I know what I'm doing. I know my move sets and like I know how.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I know how to play the game. So I mean,
I just want to put up.
I'm not going out there and just like aimlessly like wandering around and shit like that. So yeah. Thankfully, a lot of the guys that like I'm playing with or like that do happen to come in kind of know the game anyway.
Yeah,
and it's pretty much just like keep everyone alive.
Yo, real quick before we go on to our next parts of the conversation, I want to put a comment up that Kyle just put up that's really great. It really has a good understanding of what we're just saying. He says it's unfortunate that black people's biggest opponents in most series is always going to be racism. Casting black people as normal people is something that we still need to work towards. Yeah, it's very, very, very true. Same thing with Hispanics, dude. Same thing with, I mean, it's just been a couple of years that the Hispanic actors got moved up to being police officers from before we were the criminals and the gardeners.
Or Hector.
Yeah, or Hector, just himself as every Mexican character.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's usually like that, dude, where we end up getting typecasted as a yard worker or someone like a janitorial service. If not there, then we are automatically cartel members or drug runners. That's really what it is. And you know what? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was given the opportunity to be in a film, I would take it. But if that's the only thing that they're giving, you know, that's what you get, I guess. But hopefully that changes soon, man. I feel like the world is getting in a better place when it comes to all this situation. So hopefully it fixes soon. What else we got? We got Resident Evil Village is going to be dropping when, Triggs.
What's up?
Resident Evil Village, dude.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Resident Evil Village is coming out next week, bruh.
Oh, man. Did you get to see the demos that people were playing this past week?
No, man.
Yeah, they released a really good beta that had like, I think it was like 20-something minutes. 20-something minutes of the first episode.
So my brother-in-law, when the demo first dropped, he played it in front of us, and man, it looked good.
Was that the one where he runs into the big lady vampire and she like throws him and stabs him or something?
Yeah.
Okay, that was the first demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just released the second one.
Yeah, I know. I know about the second one. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I just want to be fresh with this one.
Yeah, that's why I don't really do many demos when the games come out, unless it's going to be something like I guess like Destiny or Borderlands, because it's going to be more about what the game mechanic is rather than the story. So like I feel like with the first demo that came out, it's epilogic, which means like it'll bring you to a certain spot that was created specifically for the demo. That's like a movie cut or a cinematic cut, but that doesn't appear in the video game. So then when you play the video game, that first part will actually play a little bit different and have a different ending compared to what you ran into then in the demo. And I kind of feel like that makes you confused. I don't know. That's the way it was with me when I played some demos back in the day. I kind of hate it when it does that. So I haven't really touched any of the Resident Evil Village demos yet. I've seen some online just to see what it looks like gameplay wise. Shout outs to all the cosplayers that are out there representing the cosplay community and dressing up as the vampire ladies and stuff like that. It's so cool, dude. So cool. What else do we got in video game world? Anything else coming out?
Pokemon Snap came out today for the people who've been waiting like 15 years, you know, for Pokemon Snap. 15-20 years or whatever, you know.
Is it still gonna be like a path driven game where like it puts you on a path and you just take pictures? Or is it free world?
I have no fucking clue, dude.
Yeah, I have no. I just remember the old game. I was on the N64.
I didn't play, for N64. I didn't play the first one. I'm not gonna play this one. So I mean,
you're like, hey, but it's cool.
Yeah, man. But dude, my Audrey's all over.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I used to play the N64 one a lot. I dig that game so much because there are certain ways that you could take pictures and get like Easter eggs. So like, I know it's going to be like that in this game, but the problem with the first game is it felt like a roller coaster ride. You would be put on a path and you could only stick on that path. So I wonder if they switch that out to making it like a open world where you can just run around and take pictures and stuff.
I mean, it very well might be, you know, it is on the Switch. So, I mean, it's not like the capability isn't there.
Yeah. What else did I hear recently? God of War, Ragnarok. I heard they're already working on that. What is it, Ubisoft? No.
Yeah.
Is it Ubisoft?
Wait. I believe so.
Well, I know that they just put out like a huge thing about hiring a whole bunch of people. And they were trying to do it in a span of like 2 years, but I believe the director of the company told them take their time because he's really excited to see what they're making.
Oh, it's actually Sony Interactive.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I know it was an Ubisoft. There's something about it. Battlefield 6. I'm super excited about Battlefield 6, but not off of the heels of them coming off of Battlefield 2, which was them doing World War II, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, Battlefield 6 is going to be a modern game, if not maybe a little bit more into the future, but not too crazy. Hopefully it's coming off the heels of Battlefield 4. If it plays like Battlefield 4, man, I told my friends on Warzone, you will not see me for weeks, dude. Weeks. What else do we got coming up?
Oh shit, man. Yes. I'm trying to I'm looking right now. I'm trying to remember because I had like a list, but it's in my backpack. And I'm like,
no, it's all good. If you can't remember anything, there's no. I mean, the thing is it's quiet, man.
It really is, man.
It's a really quiet place. I mean, right now, I mean, look, as a matter of fact, let's even be a little bit more nostalgic, right? Right now, last year would be us being at South Texas Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are this year. Of course, a lot of people putting up stuff on Facebook, remembering memories and stuff like that. But right now, it would be the time that we would be celebrating anime and everything here in the South Texas area. But because of the coronavirus, we've been kind of stripped of this really cool event that we all used to love to go to. And hopefully, we have something coming up. Hopefully soon. Have you heard anything about any of the conventions that are happening?
So I know in October there's Anime Fest.
Anime Fiesta.
Yeah. And that's when the voice for Tanjiro is going to be there.
Yes, they just Ramsey Ramirez, the owner of South Texas Comic Con, Anime Boom, Kaboom Comics, you name him, you love him, we all love the guy. He just made an announcement a couple of days ago that Tanjiro, the American voice actor for Demon Slayer, is going to be at the event. He's the first guest. Dude, I'm super excited to see what they're going to be bringing, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a good it's definitely gonna be a good event. I can't wait to go. I really.
You guys just had a really good opportunity too. You guys got to finally catch up with the Demon Slayer Mugen train, right?
Yeah, man. We just watched Mugen Train yesterday at the Bistro, and I think that was actually like the last showing that they were gonna have there, at least at that location. And dude, it was beautiful. It was so good.
Did you guys are you guys pretty good with the series? Like, have you guys been catching up with the series in the manga, or?
I am. They weren't. They're like my so it was me, Audrey, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and her boyfriend. So it was the five of us. This was like their first introduction, like that week or this week of Demon Slayer. I'm catching up. Like, I'm actually reading through it and stuff like that. So like I knew like more or less what was going to happen. Certain things I was kind of like, oh, dude, like I don't remember that happening here. I don't remember that happening here. But then again, like when I looked back on things, I was like, oh, damn, that's just my fault.
Well, this goes back with the idea of like the My Hero Academia movies and stuff like that. The movies kind of they're kind of a visual of what will happen through the series. Because I know that the character of Rengoku, like he's still a character in the series, and this movie does not go along with the series. Like when we return back to the series coming up, he's still going to be there. And then there will be a tie-in eventually that happens with this film.
Well, in the manga, that's how he dies. He dies.
Yeah, but the
like,
thing is
he dies in
this
that
one
arc.
is like streamlined. The story's streamlined.
Yeah, but it's still canon.
Yeah, of course.
So
that would be equivalent to like the two heroes.
Yeah, but that's different. That like Two Heroes wasn't in the manga at all.
Well, no, it's not technically in it, but right now it is playing a factor in the series.
Yeah, no, it's just being referenced.
They're being referenced and stuff.
Like, but Mugen Train, that entire arc was in like was there. Like what you saw in the movie, you saw that in the manga as well. You just obviously you saw a lot more detail in the manga than you did in the movie.
Yeah, it'll be more fleshed out in the series. That's what I meant. Like this, the movie streamlines it and put stuff into different perspectives and stuff like that. But then, of course, it's going to be more stretched out in the series.
Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of just like, the one thing that I don't like that, yeah, we got a lot more of in the manga. We got a lot more story when it came to Rengoku. Yeah, like we didn't get a whole lot of it in the movie, which is, you know, kind of shitty, but we got what we needed. We got his reason for being a Hashira. We got his reason for being a demon slayer. We had his like overall like ambitions and like what he was trying to do and trying to prove. And then when you see that all play out, and then especially during his fight with Akaza, I mean, dude, it was badass. I loved it. Like even Akaza is like, bro, just let me turn you into a demon. Like, let me save you. He was like, bro, I respect you this much that I want to turn you into a demon because like you are not a weak person. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Nice. And then of course we have the anime fan convention that'll be coming up soon also, right? That one will be pretty interesting, man. They're going to be doing, I'll show you right now, man. Harlingen Convention Center lineup so far, March. Are we in March 2020? No, that was last year, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, this was our last year, but
you're talking about last month of last year.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out where he put, because Pete was, and if I'm not mistaken, who do they're bringing 2 characters right now, but they're going to be the way that they've been doing it, which is they'll have them at Quinn Comics and at the Flux in McAllen. And if I'm not mistaken, it's John Yun Bosch and Walter Jones, the Black Ranger, the original Black Ranger, and then the movie Black Ranger.
Very nice. Very
they're going to be both. That's going to be so cool, dude. I can't wait for that stuff, man. I can't wait, boys. That one's coming up. That one will be in, I want to say July, man. July. Let me see. I'm trying to find this stuff right now so that I can tell you. Yeah, the Harlingen Fan Convention is looking for any Avatar fans. So it looks like we might have someone from the Avatar film, the Avatar TV show. Not the film, not the movie. Talking about the Last Airbender Avatar cartoon. So far, someone it looks like from Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Yo, that's a really great film if you haven't seen it. If you have not seen it. But yeah, good stuff, dude. Morphomania. Yeah, but okay, here we go. I just found it. It's going to be at Quinn Comics in Harlingen, Texas. You're going to have special appearances by John Yun Bosch and Walter Jones, July 25th through the 2021 from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And then the next day in McAllen, Texas, you're going to have it at the Flux in McAllen. Of course, John Yun Bosch and Walter Jones both, July 24th, 2021, 12 to 3 p.m. Excellent stuff, dude. And they had a really, really good one that just came out. They brought the young man from The Mandalorian. The dude that played the dude that screwed him over. Remember that one bounty hunter guy? Yeah. His name is Jake Cannavale, and they just brought him down. It was a really, really good turnout. Chris and JD both said that in McAllen, they had a really, really good crowd. Same thing with in Quinn comic books. It's really, really cool that these guys are still pushing to bring in celebrities and stuff right now during these times, man. I think it's so cool. And they have a really nice setup too. Like everything is super safe and it's super appreciated, man. Super excited. Yeah. So I'm excited because I want to at least try to do another cosplay, hopefully for Anime Fiesta. So Anime Fiesta, what days are they going to be having that one?
And shit, let me pull it back up.
You're like, well, sure.
It is October 9th and 10th.
October 9th and 10th. Center. Yeah, we got like a solid year to get ready, man. Yo, you know what I want to dress as? Omni-Man. Oh, I want to do Omni-Man. I want to dress as Omni-Man for that one. I did for Anime Fiesta last time. I did All Might. That's where I did my All Might costume, and I made a muscle suit. Muscle suits are uber expensive, but I made mine all custom. So I want to see if I can pull off an Omni-Man. That'd be so fun. That'd be so fucking fun.
Especially with what just happened. Oh my god.
Yep. Indeed, man. Indeed. But yeah, As a matter of fact, you know what? I had the opportunity to see this really, really cool movie this past weekend, and it was called Without Remorse, which is with Michael B. Jordan. And it's a Tom Clancy story. And of course, Tom Clancy is very, very popular for he's an author, he's a video game director. He creates the Rainbow Six series. He created what was that old game back in the day? Remember that one? Siphon Filter. Yeah, he made Siphon Filter. Like, he made, what is it? Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
Or is it? No, Into the Wildlands.
Well, that's of the Ghost Recon series.
Yeah.
Like, there's like 12 like Ghost Recon games.
but
it's Tom Clancy. For anyone who's like into literature, knows exactly who he is.
He's a very, very seasoned writer. And he makes such great stories, and they've transferred very well into the gaming world. But now it looks like he's going to be trying to do a digital adaptation of the Rainbow Six series. He's going to be trying to make like a this is what I think. The Rainbow Six series is still very prominent in the video game world. Like right now, everybody still plays it a lot, actually. And there's always characters that are coming out fresh and new. And I feel that maybe with the idea of creating these because he makes some really fascinating backstories to the characters too on the Rainbow Six series.
Mm-hmm.
So now if he starts creating backstories to all the characters, it creates opportunities for more DLCs, more downloads, more people getting into the interactions with it. I think it's super great. I had a really, really great time with the film. I think it was really good. I would compare it to a smaller budget variation of Extraction. So the one with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic story. Michael B. Jordan does an amazing job. The cast is fantastic. The villain of Iron Man 3 is in that film also. I forgot his name, but he's such a seasoned actor also. I just can't remember the guy that plays the dragon, or what does he play?
Guy Pearce.
Yeah, Guy Pearce. That's Guy Pearce?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I had a weird name, man. I was thinking, because there's a bunch of actors that have all these weird names. Like, for some reason, the name that kept coming to me was Army Hammer.
Oh, no. For me, I get him and Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law. Like, they have such crazy names, man.
Like,
and Guy Pearce is
all the time. Yeah, Guy Pearce and Jude Law, I get confused all the time.
Yeah, it just kept catching me.
And Mark Wahlberg.
Like, I recognized him like straight up. The moment I saw him, I was like, "Yo, that's that dude from Iron Man 3," like, and all the other crazy films. And I was like, I know he has such a weird name, but I can't think of it right now. But he does an amazing job. Literally, the whole entire cast is great through and through. And Michael B. Jordan puts on such an amazing performance, like emotional, heartfelt performance. Highly recommended on a streaming service, but it's on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Like, bro, this coronavirus, I mean, yeah, it's been such a horrible situation, and it's getting somewhat better. But if there's not something positive that came out of it, the streaming services have all picked their games up so hard, dude.
Yeah, I agree, man.
They are coming up with some amazing shows, dude. Extraction itself was a fucking amazing TV show or amazing film. And then, of course, you have the Disney Plus series that is coming out with all of these Marvel.
I appreciate the realism. Like, when it comes to like these like very like military-esque like movies and TV shows and stuff like that, there's a level of realism that you just weren't getting in like the early 2000s and like the 90s and obviously the 80s. Because like, up until like the like early to mid 2000s, everyone just hit fired and somehow or another was the greatest shot in the fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
And like now there's actual like breathing techniques and correct reloading techniques and weapon manipulation and stuff like that. So me coming from an infantry background, I really, really appreciate something like seeing something like that.
Yeah, it's really like relatable. It's almost like it gives you like that almost first person, third person type of vibe, like where it's so close and intimate with every feeling.
For me, it's not just that. It's more of like That's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I would have done it. That's exactly how I do things when I do things like this. You know, one of the I guess like more prominent things that you see is at least in Extraction, there's a part where his gun jams, and he like, and this is something that like I was taught in the military is like, you know, like if you're in the middle of a fight and you need to reload, but you're still in a fight, use your gun. Just muzzle,
hammer it in.
you know, thump it real hard, and then if you can, reload real quick. But he thumps the dude, and then he checks it, and he sees that that it's jammed, and he racks it again on his vest, which is exactly what I was taught. If you have a jam and you're in the middle of it, rack it on your vest, get that jam clear, and then get back. And I mean, that's exactly what he does. Like he's thumping dudes and just throwing people. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. It was really, really good. But you know, that brings up a good talking point in the sense of like, we do know that there's a lot more investment in now the streaming services to bring out quality content.
Yeah.
What are some upcoming events or upcoming streaming services and films and series that you've heard that you're excited for?
Castlevania season 4.
You know what? I just saw the trailer today.
Looks sick as
fuck. And it's fuck, dude. It looks the art sick. Is amazing, dude.
Oh my god, it's I believe it's the same artists who are doing Yasuke.
Vampire Hunter D. It's the same artist that did Vampire Hunter D.
And same ones who are doing Yasuke.
Now, Yasuke is a very, very interesting series, and it's something that we're going to recommend. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it yet or no?
I haven't. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not all that appealed by it, but that's just, I don't know. Like I said, it just doesn't carry enough appeal for me. I'm probably going to check it out just to check it out, but it's not one of those that like I was like, I got to fucking see this.
For me, it's a little bit different. Like, I'm a practitioner of Iaido, which is a samurai style. You know, the martial arts thing is a big thing in my life. I was really excited when people were making a big fuss about it, and excited about them making a series. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like the creator of the story did go a little bit more fantasy.
Yeah,
and I wanted them to make it a little bit more realistic.
Or like, there's like
it's very Ninja Scroll.
Yeah,
it's very Ninja Scroll, and I feel like it's a fascinating enough story and history that it doesn't really need to be all that.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of just like, dude, if you just like glorified how he became a samurai,
it's so much better.
I think you would have like had a pretty telling story. But if I'm not mistaken, this is post his samurai career. Like he's already like put down the sword, and like now he's being called back. Like nice. I believe is the story like that they're going with.
I mean, it's a very so it's supposed to be where he's already like he's already been the samurai, and they're trying to. Is it very what was that film back in the Afro Samurai or what?
Kinda. Well, with Afro Samurai, like he was a samurai who just wanted to avenge his dad.
Yeah,
that was seeing the guy had one motivation. That was it. Avenge dad.
So is this one more in the sense like
I think
he's kind of already done being a samurai and then he comes back to it?
Yeah, like he's already kind of done, and like he's protecting somebody. Or yeah, like protecting like a little girl or some shit like that. You know, like every single fucking anime out there.
Yeah, you see, like that's what we're talking about. Like story-wise, it just seems like it's always the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah,
and you know what? Like we've talked about it before too, where anime and mangas have a tendency to be a little bit more creative than what Marvel and DC are what they're doing nowadays.
Yes, but at the same time, like manga and anime very much like Marvel and DC, and they're very predictable at times.
Yeah,
you know, like granted, when it comes to Marvel and DC, something bad happens, good guys win. Mm-hmm. The journey between that is usually never the same. You know, but with animes and mangas, the journey almost is still highly predictable up to a point, because it's like kid doesn't know who his family is, finds out that he's a chosen one or a prodigy,
Yeah.
ends up becoming a low-key badass, 5-year time skip, good guy wins through the power of friendship.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then you find out that his parents were both like either villains or they were like a major contributor, even though they were never there.
Or gods.
They were still a part of the story.
Yeah,
the
or
whole
gods.
time.
Yeah.
That's why, like, we're always talking about it too. Like, that's kind of like what I see what's coming up with My Hero. Like, I'm just expecting for them to bring Deku's dad out.
Yeah.
The dad out in some way, which is the same thing they did with Attack on Titan.
Well, they didn't do this with Demon Slayer.
Well, not yet. Oh, well, no, it's already ended, right?
Yeah, it's already ended. His dad has very little to contribute to like the overall story. The only thing that he has to contribute is the fact that offhanded Tanjiro remembers a dance that he used to do through breathing techniques, and boom, he knows sun breathing now. That's all his dad contributes. But like as a character, nothing.
But like, even what about towards the ending of the manga series?
Nothing.
There's still the father never comes out as a part or anything, or he never contributed anything else.
That was it. His like
I would figure like it would be something where like the dad planned the bloodline, or he planned for Tanjiro to get a sword, or
no, because you find out that one of the upper rank 3, the number 2, is a progenitor of that line of no, sorry, not a progenitor. You find out that like that his brother and him were the first demon slayers, and his brother knew sun breathing and taught it to the like to Tanjiro's like ancestor, and just passed it down. That's it.
Okay. So in some way it's still there, right?
Yeah.
But just not as prevalent as many other stories.
And nowhere near. Nowhere near. That's why I was like, yeah, he does like have a part to play, but dude, nothing. Like
usually when it comes to those type of stories, like the escaping parent always comes back like towards the ending of the series in some way. But the dad literally died.
Yeah.
And that one, the dad's dead.
Yeah. So, yeah. You find out episode 1 that his dad died, and boom, episode 1, entire family dies.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. Like these stories, they always have a tendency to kind of correlate to each other a lot closer. So, yeah, I kind of feel like when I started hearing about the release of Yasuke, like I kind of felt that they didn't need that fantasy feel.
I didn't know that there was going to be one until I read the synopsis in Netflix.
And you know what? It's really crazy because I thought originally that they were going to do a live action because they chose the actor that played K in Death Note. Yeah, so I was expecting them because he's a really great actor. We talked about him before. Hopefully reprising the role for Black Panther, like a young T'Challa. Like it would be a very interesting role to see him in it. He also came out in what was that scary movie, dude, where he played the Get Out, right? He played the dude, the Get Out guy.
Yeah.
When he gets the bloody nose when he takes a photo of him.
I don't know. I never saw it.
You never saw Get Out? He's in the trailers when he's like grabbing the dude and he's like, get out, and he's like screaming at him.
No.
Yeah. Well, he's a really great actor. He's playing the voice of Yasuke in the story. And I originally thought they were going to do a live action, but that would have been more to the fact of it being more realistic, which I kind of feel like it does need a live action representation of it because it'll probably be a really great timepiece. Like, I think it'll be a really,
that's originally what Last Samurai was.
Yes.
I mean, they were essentially just telling an Americanized version of the Yasuke story, except like 200 years later.
One of our listeners, Kyle, good homie, came out and said that he's already seen a couple episodes, and he says, I was honestly a little disappointed that it was hella magically and techie. I was looking forward to something straight up historical fantasy.
Yeah, that's what we thought that it was going to be. And right before he says it's like Cyberpunk meets feudal Japan.
Yeah, there you go. I see that. That's crazy, man. And that's kind of like if you remember, of course, going back to this, I don't know if it's the same people, but Afro Samurai had that vibe too, where everything was very cyberpunkish, samurai work. Everybody had like techno stuff, which is very weird. Because even when you go back to Ninja Scroll, like there is some type of like robotics on people where they have like maybe an arm that's replaced or something, but it's very minimal.
Seven Samurai.
Oh yeah, Seven Samurai does. But
Yeah,
you're talking if you're not talking about the Kurosawa film, you're talking about the anime.
Yeah, I'm talking
Now,
about
the anime is like super techno driven.
Yeah, that was straight cyberpunk meets feudal Japan.
Yeah. But you know what? Like I feel like it's a really bad loss when it comes to it because like in the original story of the Seven Samurai, you have a great story.
Oh yeah.
That you can do with some really grounded individuals. And I do understand the idea of them doing the whole like techie shit with samurai because it's like coolish, but it just never applies right.
Mm-hmm.
It never applies right because our minds already think the samurai nature is cool.
Mm-hmm.
We already think that timeline is a great, cool timeline. It's like doing 300 and then you add a bunch of like fucking laser guns and fucking metal arms and cyborg eyeballs. You're like, well, you don't really need that, dude. The Spartans are cool as fuck.
Wait, man, you're telling me that there's laser raptors? Nah, bro, fuck that.
Oh man, yeah, laser. Oh, you know what? I'll take it back. Kung Fury did it good.
Yeah, dude, there you go, man. You're gonna tell me what
did it amazing, Fury,
but 300? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Kyle also says, I'm gonna be honest though, the Afro Samurai technique vibe was a little bit different. Big difference because they aren't telling us historical figure. Yeah, I totally dig that. That's actually correct, man.
That's why, you know, like what with what you mentioned earlier, you know, with like it being slightly compared to Afro Samurai, and I was like, yeah, but you know, like with Afro Samurai, he wasn't a fucking, you know, he wasn't a real person.
He wasn't a real person during the Oda Nobunaga time. Yeah, that's such a tongue twister. But yeah, dude, and that's because Oda Nobunaga was a badass. In most iterations, he's like the Lubu of Japan. Yeah. Like they literally like reference him as like the hardcorest general of all time.
Oh my god, dude! And speaking of Lubu, that is the first fight that you're gonna get to see in the Record of Ragnarok anime. Oh my god, and he's gonna be fighting Thor.
Oh, you know what? As a matter of fact, even with that reference, shout out to our boy, the Sun Wukong, Xavier Wilson. He's got a fight coming up. He's on the undercard for the Canelo card in 2 weeks.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, Xavier's going to be on the undercard of the Canelo fight that's coming up. So shout out to Xavier Wilson, Sun Wukong, the man himself, San Antonio boxer. Valley grown, man. Valley grown.
Yeah, man.
We hope you do good, man. Looking out. So yeah, onward to the next one. So yeah, guys, like we said, we recommend it. We're going to be checking it out this weekend. I'm literally going to binge watch Castlevania and I'm going to binge watch Asuke. Those are my two things that I'm going to do. The Tom Clanscy Without Remorse. I do recommend it if you have Amazon Prime, which also brings us to the next one. Do not forget that also Chris Pratt has one coming up, a film coming up called The Tomorrow War. And that's supposed to be Chris Pratt versus some aliens. Hopefully it's got a little bit of comedy to it. But yeah.
I mean, the only movie that he did that to me had no comedy in it,
Jurassic Park.
No, was The Kid.
I don't even remember that. I just remember Jurassic Park. I kind of feel like this movie will be like his character in Jurassic Park, where he's got like that dry humor, but he's a serious guy. Like, I mean, it looks good though. He has that. All of them have that bracer arm.
Oh my god,
that reminds me of fucking Big Boss dude from Metal Gear. But it's just an arm shield.
Dude, man, there's some huge hitters in this movie.
The Tomorrow one?
Yeah, Yvonne Strahovski, J.K. Simmons, Mr. Omni-Man himself.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Sam Richardson, Keith Powers. Oh my god, dude, Mike Mitchell. Oh my god, yeah, dude, this is gonna be a funny movie.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I mean, Chris Pratt, I love the guy. Funny, he's so great. And then in recent times, like seeing him kind of like, there's this part of me that wants to see like this buddy story where it's like Uncharted, but I want to see him and Tom Holland because they look like each other. And they played brothers in that one animated film.
Oh yeah, where they're like wizards or whatever.
Yeah.
Trolls.
I was telling a friend of mine that I didn't really like the movie itself because it didn't make a lot of sense. But I did
what movie does make sense to Chris.
I know. But the thing is like their performance together as a team, like was spot on. Like I love their interaction, like as brothers and stuff. So I could see them as doing like an Uncharted together.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? Because Tom Holland's supposed to be playing Nathan Drake in the Uncharted, right? And then Chris Pratt looks like him, but just 6 foot and 200 pounds. So you put him in the same costume and call him like big or twins, like that movie back in the day with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Like it'd be such a great, funny movie together. I don't know. I think it'd be great. That's just me saying that. But yes, Chris Pratt does have a film coming up also. It's going to be on, dude, there's a lot of good movies coming out on Amazon Prime. I feel bad for Netflix. Feel bad for Netflix. But yeah, man, straight up, we do recommend Yasuke. So you guys check it out. If not, if you have Amazon Prime, check out Without Remorse and tell me what you guys think. Because right now we're going to get into one more in our last discussion for the day, which is going to be another Amazon Prime series, which is truly amazing. Hit it right on the button. Even with the changes that it's made, it was fucking masterful. But we are talking about the show Invincible. Trigger, what did you think?
It was fucking beautiful, start to finish. I had nothing bad to say any of the times that you like that was like in the show. Like my only gripes were just the chronology of everything happening. But that was it. Past that, I mean, you know, like they would just be gripes, you know, and even then, like those gripes shouldn't be taken all that seriously because, like, dude, this was just a fantastic show, start to finish, you know, and I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. You know, I'm probably gonna like if this ever comes out to like Blu-ray or DVD or some shit, I'm gonna buy it. Like,
yeah, they really hit it on the button, man. At first, I was very nervous because I didn't know what to expect. We talked about that a while back on the show where we talked about our Invincible episode that we knew it was going to be coming out and we hope that they got it right. And yeah, you know, you did mention the biggest point, which was the chronological thing, right?
Yeah.
Where there were things that felt a little rushed to a certain time period. But I kind of feel like them.
I'm not at all going to say rushed.
Well, just to be fitted into the episodes.
No, that's what not even that. It was just if you had told the story in the cohesive chronological order that it went in, you had enough stuff to cover an entire season. But I get what they're doing now because Invincible has now been picked up for 2 additional seasons.
And that's what that's what I think the goal was.
So what I'm taking from that is that one, they're either going to try and finish the series in 3 seasons, or they're gonna do 2 really big arcs, and I think I know which ones they're gonna do. To see how the ratings stay over those next 2 seasons, and if they get it, then they're gonna close out the series with the 4th season.
I think they're gonna do 5.
I hope that they do
overall. 5. I think they're gonna do 5 seasons.
It would be smarter to do 5.
Yeah, because I could see where all the different arcs happen, and it going to 5 series.
Me too.
Like 5 arcs. I think that would be comfortable. I think if they did it in 4, I think that's where it'll start to feel rushed. And they're probably going to have to combine 2.
And like the biggest reasons why I say that, like why I say that they're going to do 4 is because they've jumped around so much.
Yeah.
Chronology is already out the window. We know that we can't trust things happening in a chronological order. We just have to know what's happening at the moment that it's happening at. That's it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like but I don't feel like
battle beast thing that just drove me up the wall. I loved seeing it. It was so cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't feel like the chronological situation that they're pulling. Like, I don't feel like it's bad though.
I don't either, because it still tells a very cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Like a very cohesive story. Mm-hmm. My only thing is that you're kind of taken away from, like, I'm not going to say a certain expectation, because I think that's a little too like fanboy-ish. but I'm gonna say that like you're kind of throwing things in a loop that I didn't necessarily think were necessary. That I mean, but I get why you're doing it. You're just telling the same story in a different set of events.
You know, I kind of feel like Robert Kirkman is kind of taking a playbook out of The Walking Dead.
Well, yeah,
I think he learned something from The Walking Dead where he was kind of
honestly,
like, you know what, like, and you know what, I've talked about this before on the show too, where I'll say where I've said before where originally like they created the story and then they introduced time travel and they introduced going back in the timeline and fixing things because Robert Kirkman wanted to change some things up. And then we saw that real prominently that Robert Kirkman is not afraid to flip things out on the Walking Dead show.
no,
That
not
he
at
was,
all.
you know, he was not afraid to fucking go super crazy against the grain.
Yeah, I mean, dude, especially when it comes to his TV shows, you know,
Yeah.
like how many characters are dead in the TV show that aren't dead in the comic?
Yeah, man, it's very weird, man. I'm still telling you, like, for it to be one of those things like where the show had changed dramatically in the first couple of seasons, only to get to the Glenn part and it stayed like comic book accurate, and then for it to go awry again, but still kind of be all right because I know that The Walking Dead still has fan base.
Oh yeah,
I think it's just that I think it's just that it's just carried on for too long. Like literally, I think it's still great. I just think that people are kind of like, yeah, I'm tired of that genre.
I agree. Like I wholeheartedly agree with that, and that's why like I'm not gonna say that this is gonna happen with Invincible. No, because that's a certain niche of people. That's a very particular like niche of people. But with that being said, he has seen a ungodly resurgence in buying
In Invincible. Oh
comics.
my god, dude. Yes.
That
dude.
man is raking fucking money when it comes to royalties right now. He must be just living it right now. You could not find a fucking Invincible comic book to save your fucking life right now.
My friend Christella just hit me up today. She's barely watching the episodes like right now as we speak.
God, Christella, what are you doing?
So I was watching the finale and she comes up from doing her stuff and she's like, "What are you watching, dude?" And I was like, "I'm watching Invincible. It's the season finale." And I had tried to show her the episodes days before that, and she was just like, "I'm tired or whatever. I'm gonna go sleep or I'm gonna go home or I'm gonna go lay down or whatnot."
Yeah.
She she literally like bypassed it, but then when she was watching the season finale with me, it got to like I'm just gonna say trains.
Oh my
the reference.
God.
That's all it was like. So I don't want to do any spoilers.
Oh my God. we're look, we have to talk spoilers later.
From not seeing the entire series and then watching that part, she was like, "What the fuck is this story about?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, yeah, this is Invincible. Like, you'll get it. You'll get it." So she kind of like, she hit me up today and she was at work and she was like, "Yo, should I buy the Adam Eve cosplay?" And I was like, "You haven't even seen the series, man. Watch the fucking series first." Like, I was kind of like, "Yo, watch this first." See, because the thing is like, I think the idea of Adam Eve's character in this storyline is represented very well in that last episode when they're there at the table talking to each other and they're like, cool. Like, she's very slept on. And I think they slept on her a little too much in the first season.
I agree.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, because she's super strong.
Well, not just that strong, but she's a lot more prominent.
Yeah, like, of course.
Slight spoilers.
Not too much.
Not too much. What happens after the Amber breakup and Omni-Man? That scene in the fucking Burger Shack doesn't happen. They don't meet up later. Adam Eve isn't there. That's not a thing. They are not all cool.
Yeah,
like,
they're not.
Granted, like him and Amber, like when they break up, it's a very mutual thing. Like, okay, cool. Like, hey, you know,
oh man, we
had our shot, dirty, but you cannot give me the attention that I deserve. and you're very busy right now. I get it. Like, it is like no fault to you. I get it. You're invincible.
This
And,
series literally made that shitty, dude. Like I was so like,
she was like, whatever, dude, you're a prick. You like me. And I was like, yo, dude, like, you know, he gets his ass handed to him like 3 days out of the week, right?
Yeah, or dude, this guy just saved the planet and you're fucking worried about him not going to a soup kitchen. Fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know, they really kind of like
people are still gonna be hungry. They'll still be there.
I kind of feel like they did the Amber character very dirty in this. Like they didn't do it good, but I kind of feel like they made you hate her for what happens later.
Do you know who voices Amber?
Yeah, dude, it's the fucking Domino chick from Deadpool, Zazie.
Yeah, Zazie Beetz, dude.
That's crazy, dude. I mean, dude, the entire cast is fucking amazing, dude.
Oh yeah,
the entire cast. Robert Kirkman actually did an interview. I want to say it just came out on CBR recently, where it was like he explains why he chose to make Grayson, where he chose to make him Mark Grayson a
Asian?
Asian American or Asian Canadian or Asian Viltrumite. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like a biracial person.
Yeah.
He explains why he wanted to do that. And I'm kind of like, all right, cool. Like, I mean, it didn't really bother me. And I didn't even think about it that much that the mom was like Asian in this one that much. Yeah.
She's played by Sandra Oh.
Oh no, I know who plays her, but like, it really never like, I guess it's just me, but I never like read for race.
Neither do I. And you know what?
In like, comics, I never read for race. I just see it.
You know, and and I'm not going to say that like, oh, like, you know, I don't read for race, so like I'm better than you, and I don't see race or anything. No, dude, I'm reading for a story. I don't give a shit if the dude's black, brown, purple, or fucking yellow.
Yeah, like you know what? Like some people play it off very well. Where like we talked about earlier, where like people of minority never get these cool stories where they get to fight like the demons or the dragons or intergalactic stories. Sometimes people play it off very well, man. Where like you just read it to read it.
Yeah,
and unless it's like purposely put there that the race is important to understand, like when they mention something of their culture or their racial standards, then I really don't see all that stuff too much, not when it comes to reading comic books.
But you know what, with that being said, who's one character that I'm glad did come back? Seth Rogen, dude. Seth Rogen, Alan the Alien.
Hey, Alan, right at the end, dude. Oh, that was a perfect send-off too, man. Yeah, that was a perfect send-off. It was great. Overall, season 1 of Invincible, scale of 1 to 10?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Same thing with me, man. I believe that this is done in great class. It wasn't very...
Even with all its shortcomings, and even then, I only consider the chronological happenings of the story as its only shortcoming. It was still fucking fantastic, dude.
And with that, like I'm kind of happy that Robert Kirkman isn't going farther than that to chronologically change the story up.
Well, you also
kind of happy that
Seth Rogen has a lot to do with this series. This is Seth Rogen coming to Robert Kirkman and saying like, "Hey, let me tell you like the story that you've written. Help me tell your story."
Yeah,
and
I'm fucking kicking back. I'm sorry, guys.
Fuck it, dude. I do it all the time.
Back.
I do it all the time. But yeah, man, like Seth Rogen is obviously a very funny dude. His laugh is just iconic now.
But he plays that character like it's perfect. His voice is perfect for that role.
I always thought, I never knew how like Alan the Alien was supposed to sound. And like now that I hear the cast sound the way that they do, I'm like, bro, like I can't hear this cast sounding anywhere else.
Else. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I like all the voice
I thought everybody was perfect, Granted, granted Amber is not a blonde-haired white girl, she is black and whatever. But I mean, dude, everyone that they got was perfect. Omni-Man, I cannot and refuse to.
Who would have ever imagined that J.K. Rowling, dude?
J.K. Simmons?
J.K. Simmons, yeah. Who would have ever imagined that him to be like the Superman in a role?
The evil Superman. Yeah.
But nonetheless, like have that voice, have that oomph in his voice that, If
Well,
you were
he's
to
been a
imagine
voice
what
actor
Omni-Man, the
before.
voice actor, actually looked like, you wouldn't imagine him looking like Simmons.
No.
You would imagine him to be like a
A tough
stern-looking
guy.
individual.
But J.K. Simmons just has that depth behind his
Yeah, dude.
voice.
He's man, dude. The Omni, like the baseball scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like every dude, man. He played. This was a phenomenal episode
Honestly,
for
for me, what really got me was the mountain scene.
mountains. Yeah, that was the whole thing. Even the part towards the ending of the mountains, right?
Yeah.
Just the way he portrays the emotion, man, dude.
Which, granted, in the comic was never a thing. The emotion was not there until he finishes what he's doing in the mountains.
You know what effect?
That's the only time you actually see emotion coming from his dad. Now, like, I loved that they put that in to the show because it really humanizes Omni-Man.
Oh, dude, yeah, it does. And you know what I love? I know it's something so small and probably like insignificant, but like that they don't have to change their superhero outfits. They just fly out into space and it burns off.
Yes, dude, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, how their superhero outfit is so durable against that kind of heat that the blood just burns off of him.
Well, like just that effect, man. That's such a good like continuity effect. Like knowing what would happen, and then the way like the clothes burn off, like it's so like Sailor Moon transformation ish.
Yeah,
but in such a raw way.
Yeah, I get it.
Like this is okay. So this brought up a really good, interesting thought in my head as to we see. I mean, a fucking Incredibles, Invincible's been around for how long?
Since 04.
So you're talking about fucking fuck, dude. Fucking what is that?
It ended in 2017, if I remember correctly.
But it's been around. Like people still could get it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like you know what I mean. It was in reality. Like we could get it from there. Like you could be a fan of it just by moving around.
17 years.
Yeah. In 17 years to now, with the franchise, you probably had people come and go life wise, right? And right now, it's barely becoming a reality. Right now, Robert Kirkland is getting a fluctuation in cash because people are starting to see his hard work come to fruition, right?
Yeah. Man.
Why do you think that right now, in specifics, people who haven't been fans but are becoming fans now relate more to the violent, bloody, I don't know, horrific superhero stories rather than the old school Silver Age versions of comic books?
I would have to attribute that to just the media being the way that it is now. You know, people are a little bit more desensitized to it. You know, like our horror movies are fucking gory now. So, you know,
most people just complain that they're not horror; they're just fucking suspense,
or thriller movies and stuff like that. You know, you know what? For me, perfect example was you know, another Netflix original that I'm definitely going to recommend is Shadow and Bone. Think of
I was going to ask you how that went.
Yeah, man. Think of Full Metal Alchemist except Russian.
And you were telling me about it. Overall, what did you guys think about it since you guys read the book and stuff?
It's amazing. It's really, yeah. But this also ties into like what I'm talking about now is that the death scenes in Shadow and Bone are fucking brutal, dude. Really brutal. And they're not that brutal in the book.
Okay, so I was gonna say, like, do you feel like they are a really dynamic change from the way the book explains it?
Hell yeah!
Wow, dude. And why do you think?
In my opinion, I mean, you know, shock value. You know,
the wow factor.
It's not just the wow factor. It's something that I kind of have to say that, like, you're looking at cinema now in its like natural evolution, and there's something there that I kind of didn't realize until I started watching like 80s movies to like 2021 movies. And um for me, okay, perfect example. The first Guyver movie. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh fuck yeah, Guyver with David Hayter,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill,
Yeah.
when he was a giant cockroach.
Yeah, where he becomes a giant cockroach. Like
Yeah.
you saw that and you kind of thought it was funny. Like there wasn't like a, oh my god, this character is now shifting and
Yeah,
like
the
there's
first movie
something
was kind
bad
of silly
happening.
compared to the second movie, where like the second movie had more like a dynamic change, but the violence was different.
Yeah, it was. But now like you see a drastic change in something, but there's an emotional connection because you're not just seeing the character develop, but like you're given a reason to care about this character. So when the shift in whatever medium happens, you feel for the character and you don't want it to happen. So what happens with Omni-Man, it's not just like, oh, okay, that happens, sucks. It's like, I can't believe this is happening. Make it stop. Please stop. Like you don't want to have these things happening. And for me, I think it's just the natural evolution of cinema. Like now we're being connected to the characters that we're seeing. Um, like Endgame. Endgame wasn't an overall really brutal movie, but there was a lot of emotional connection to the characters. Or look at Mugen Train. Like you see the introduction of one character, and then at the very very end, I mean, you're almost in tears after what's happening with this character.
Yeah, I wasn't.
There's an
For
emotional
me, it
connection.
was a little bit different for me. I was talking about it, I think, last week, right? Where I feel like, yeah, it's like you said, the story wasn't for the Mugen Train. I feel like there was something missing that they didn't let the audience figure out.
Yeah, no, and I get it. Like
Yeah,
in the manga, there's a lot
more, yeah,
story.
disposition and stuff.
There's a lot more to his story. But they just took the important parts and they put it into the movie.
Yeah.
Like they highlight his brother, they highlight his dad, they highlight his mom. They tell the story of all three in the span of like 5 minutes. And they give you his overall motivation for why he does what he does and why he is the way that he is. Boom. There you go. The character.
Where did you think this all started with? Like,
I'm not going to be
like kind of like, do you feel like it started with
the goddamn video games? No,
right? No, I would say, you know what? Like, I kind of feel like
metal music.
The
goddamn Metallica.
What if all of this came from Injustice, dude? Like the comic book story. I mean, it sounds kind of weird, but I cannot remember another facet in our timeline where comic books were that vulgar before that. Like any arcs before that story. You know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah, but there's a comic long before Injustice, where like the Joker rapes some girl for like 3 days and then kills her and leaves her on the side of the road.
That's not Death in the Family, is it?
No.
What is it?
I mean, I can't remember the exact issue, but it's just an issue in a Batman like comic. Like that's like it doesn't connect to like an overall arcing story.
So you're talking about like one-offs and stuff like that, or like like the yeah. I mean, I get that, but like I want to kind of say like the most like where is it where we got inspiration to see? Maybe it was a Watchmen.
Maybe
yeah, because there has to be like a point, like a pinpoint in history.
Yeah, but it's not just a single thing. Like you're gonna, like Kyle says, life's a fucking downer, man. I think people just kind of relate to it. It's true. People are kind of just. I'm not gonna say being woke or anything like that. I really, really hate that term. But I mean, it is a very,
obvious, like
no, it's a very appropriate term. I just don't like it because it sounds cheap.
mhm.
But what I mean is that like bad things have been happening in comics for a very long time. You know, like okay, in the 40s, fucking Batman hung a dude from his helicopter and rode around Gotham in it. That was long before Injustice.
Was that a thing?
Yeah, damn right, it's a thing.
Was the dude dead? Well, I don't know because
Hanging by your neck up from a helicopter and flying around this, bro. If you can survive that, teach me.
Well, I mean, look at the Batman movies. You got cars flying through people. Like he was launching vehicles and shooting them with a 30 caliber Gatling gun off the top of his Batmobile, but he says he didn't kill nobody.
Oh, bro, he didn't. In the new ones, you know he's killing people.
Oh,
he got
murdered
no
a whole goddamn
problem.
gang.
No fucking problem.
Yeah, there's no way that guy to survive that box in the face. That was straight witnessing of a murder, man.
Yeah, that's a fucking 150, 250 pound box that just launched at a 6-inch by like 8-inch.
No, but like my question is, because we see the popularity from Invincible, right?
Yeah,
and we've known about Invincible for years, dude.
100%.
Same thing with The Boys. We saw the popularity in The Boys grow super fast as soon as it was released.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it had this almost like vulgarity of superheroes, right?
But you know, it's just human nature in my opinion. People love just to see the
raunchiness.
Yeah, we really do. You know, like, are you gonna watch a horror, movie from 1987 where like you can see the jello of blood, or are you gonna watch a 2021 zombie movie where you're seeing, a 6-month-old baby just get ripped apart by zombies?
But do you ever feel that these type of stories they hurt the hope and innocence of what comic book superheroes were supposed to originate?
Yes and no. I want to say yes and no. And the reason that I say that is because you need an evolution. You can't just stay stagnant.
Yeah.
So like there has to be an evolution of the character somewhere. I don't necessarily have a problem with it being this. And the reason that I say that, because look at Batman. Batman's one thing is that he doesn't kill, right? For like 80 years now, he doesn't kill in the comics.
Yeah.
In the comics, doesn't kill, right? But if he just killed one person, he would save an entire city. Just one.
Yeah. That's the whole story about it.
And that's why I fucking hate Batman. Because like he's a stopgap measure and he's a half measure at best. And I am over Batman. Over Batman. Do I want to see his movies? Yeah. Are they cool? Fuck yeah. Are they going to be great cinematic, masterpieces? They might be. And I'm going to go watch them to find out. Mm-hmm. Do I think that his comic book character is completely lame now? Better fucking believe it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, man. I mean, I get that. It's the growth of the character, right?
Yeah.
And the character, it kind of like, if there's not some type of turmoil or something he's dealing with, and it becomes stagnant.
Yeah.
So there has to be some type of evolution of the character or that type of story arc. My concern has always been,
I'm not going to say that like, maybe you should like be okay with killing or be okay with getting certain things done or getting your hands dirty or something like that. No, what I'm saying is that sometimes people need to really just come to grips with the reality of a situation. And you know what? You can't save everyone, but if you want to save at least one person, sometimes sometimes doing the right thing isn't doing the right thing.
But that's that main thing of you can't save everyone always was the driving force behind my ideals for why superheroes always do.
Yeah, but some of them are very.
And that's what makes them super or whatnot. Like human nature would be like, no, we can't save them all because we can't be everywhere at once or whatever. But that's what made those people so super, right? this because they could be there in a jiffy, or they could fly, or they could teleport, or they can run in and out in the zip of an eye or whatever.
Yeah, and for
And
me,
those were always
what I
amazing.
love, and I don't know, maybe it's the cynic in me or something like that. I love to see a superhero fail because it shows them the human side.
The redemption.
Yeah, well, no, not the redemption. It
Or
shows me
just
that you
fail.
are,
Just
yeah, you are human. You are exactly like me. I fail, and you can fail.
see, for me, it's very weird, but I do literally understand what that means right there. Like, I know that part of story writing where it's like you want to see this person get humanized, and you want them to relate to you more. Sometimes, like, you want them to understand that, yeah, dude, you can pop a planet out of the sky or punch an asteroid or whatever.
Yeah,
But when
man,
you
cool,
punch that
dude. You know, like,
asteroid,
yeah, man,
and
tie a chain around the moon and go
yeah.
drag it around the galaxy. Cool, man. I've seen that in comics.
Mhm.
But you know what, dude?
But when you
I
punch that
love
asteroid and it shatters and
and
smashes into buildings and hurts people, like,
fuck yeah,
yeah,
dude.
you failed, man. You
Yeah,
failed. There was
you
something
failed.
about it that you romanticize the powers of the character as the
Exactly.
story,
Yeah,
and
and you
there's not
can't
enough emotional connection.
exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. You can't always do that because it's
Yeah.
gonna get stagnant. People are
Well, of
gonna be
course,
like,
yeah.
people are
That's the
gonna be
growth.
like,
That's
bro,
the
like, oh, okay, I got it. Something bad happens. Well, guess what? You're gonna come in and swoop in and save the fucking day.
yeah.
But what
Because
if
then
you
what
didn't?
happens
What if
is
you couldn't though?
you end up feeling this really cool thing where it's like where the powers are the story more than the person, right? Like Superman, when he just goes and does the job, you don't really care about him as a human or as a person. You just care that he can do the job because he's got the tools.
Yeah,
He's like a tool for that part. But the moment like he suffers from it, or he can't get it done, or you know that there's a possibility that failure is involved, then you become more emotionally invested.
for me, one of the greatest stories that's super slept on in a very long time. Um, and it goes in directly with what I'm talking about. And for anyone who cares about it, go read Heroes in Crisis. It
Heroes
is about Heroes in Crisis. It is about a sanctuary. If for DC Comics, it is about a sanctuary where all the superheroes go when they need to decompress. You got to remember, guys. These guys are doing some really,
that's
really
the Wally.
hectic
Yeah,
things.
yeah, I know which story you're talking about.
We're Wally West, like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
time.
We won't spoil it, but
Yeah,
I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, but it humanizes every single one of the DC, like of DC's continuity.
Yeah.
It humanizes everybody, and I loved that because, like, you see Batman cry, you see Superman break, you see Wonder Woman doubt herself, you see these things, and you're like, about fucking time, dude. You are not as super as everyone makes you out to be, and I hate that. Like, I get it, dude. The reason that we read comic books is to remind ourselves that we can be more than what we are, but at the same time, you also have to come to grips that you are who you are still. You still can fail. You have to come to grips that failure is still a very real thing in your life and it will happen. But what do you do when you hit that failure? Do you let that failure keep you down, or do you get right back up and keep going?
Yep.
That's why I like seeing a failure in a comic book, because it shows me what the actual character is about. Not like, oh, I came in, I punched a few bad guys, and boom, the day is saved. No, dude, that's boring. Give me depth to your story. Show me, like, show me that, like, your best friend died, and your best friend is the one who, like, anchors you down to, like, not do bad things. What are you gonna do now? Are you gonna give in to these violent urges, or are you going to honor that memory and still be a better person? Like, right now, Alfred's dead in the comic books.
Yeah, he died during the Joker War.
During City of Bane, he died. So Batman doesn't have
His
a father figure. He doesn't have that anymore. So what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
What is he going to do now? He's just got the Bat family, which, and I'm not downplaying them at all. They're all prestigious and prodigious, fighters in their own right, and they've all been through their own like myriad of bullshit.
Yeah.
But Alfred was the only person who was there who was like, "You're gonna be okay, man. You know that. You're gonna be okay. Just take your time, pick your shit back up, get back out there. Mm-hmm. You're okay." He doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah, it's very crazy. The only thing that I kind of like wonder nowadays is
because the thing is Batman gonna pull out of his fucking belt?
Oh, you see, that's what we grew up with, right? And the thing is like all of these characters grew up with us. Maybe even a little bit before our time, they were growing up with that generation of child, right? Then eventually it reached a certain part where the child became the teen, and then the teen to the adult, and then out to what we have now for superheroes and whatnot. And now we have all of these superheroes that are all in therapy sessions. Some of them are contemplating even harder if they should kill someone or not. And sometimes you just got heroes that are like, fuck it, dude, I want to be popular, and they kill people anyways. And you have those people that are prominent in the thing. But do you feel that it's fair for like the youth that are growing up nowadays to have these superheroes front and center compared to like us having the more innocent stories front and center?
Oh man, that's a really good question, and I don't think that I'm in a position to answer that. And
it's scary, right?
It's not that it's scary, and the reason that I say that I'm not in a position to answer it is because I very much like yourself have been reading comic books for like 20 years, 20 plus years, and I've grown up with characters being in a certain way, right? And so very much like yourself, I'm kind of set in my own ways when it comes to how I view my comic book characters. It's kind of like one of those things where, like kids nowadays, have smartphones and have internet access at the drop of a hat.
At the drop of a hat.
We had to wait for dial-up, like sound. Yep. We had to wait for that shit.
Well, even before that, we had to wait for everybody to be off the phone at the house.
At 9 p.m., dude.
Yeah, at 9 p.m. or something. We had to nobody could be on the telephone.
Bro, you had to hope that your homeboy had a fucking cell phone on Sprint. That way you can get free minutes after 9.
After 9.
Bro,
yeah.
You and I remember that. But what I'm saying is that like we can't take away from the fact that like the characters are the way that they are now. What I'm saying is that I think the younger readers should care enough to learn the history of the character before talking in a particular light of the character. Like, oh, well, Batman is just the way that he is, dude. Get over it. No, motherfucker. He's gone through a lot. Do you know what he's gone through? Do you remember when X, Y, and Z happened? Do you remember when the Joker cut off his own face and put it on Batman? That fucked him. Did you read when Jason Todd died? Probably not.
So the idea is maintaining that history of publication in the comic books.
Yeah, because you get to see the character grow. And I know that I'm digging in on Batman, and the reason that I am
cool. I don't mind at all.
Like, it's not that I hate this character. I like the character for what he is. The character is at the peak of human physical condition. He's a genius. That's the richest man in God, like in the world. Great. This man is the epitome of willpower. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. That is what Batman symbolizes. Mm-hmm. Batman also symbolizes a very, very fundamental delusional flaw in people, that if you stick to a single ideal, you will fall blindly into that ideal. Mm-hmm. His ideal of not killing sometimes is just fucking irritating.
Yeah, it's just complete failure.
Yeah, and it shows that failure of a character, something that is very, very, very easily fixed.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean,
it's why he doesn't.
It's an innocent theme. It's an innocent theme to follow. Like, just don't kill. Like, you know what I mean? And then for that to make such a I mean, to make such stories of knowing that the failure of saving many people derives from the fact that this person chooses not to kill.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, dude. It's a great story writing and it's masterful in its own way. But you know, there are parts of me that do feel for the youth of nowadays when it comes to comic books nowadays, because nowadays all the comic books that are prominent, all the ones that are violent in nature, or all the ones that are grotesque in nature, or sexualized or perversed in some way of the superhero genre. Do you? This is my last question because we're already going to hit 2 hours, which we didn't even think we were going to make 2 hours.
Yeah, no, we didn't, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, because these are good. These are good talking points, man. And this is my
Yeah, man.
last question: is do you feel that having an innocent story will ever be front and center, or will it always have to have these weird themed, like, you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense in the sense of what question? Like, do you feel like an old Christopher Reeves Superman movie would still work, or are we already past that in the storytelling of superheroes?
Ooh, man.
Because that's hurtful, man. Because Christopher Reeves, like, through and through, is still my Superman.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, I get that. For me,
but do you feel like humanity as a person that we're past
like,
that?
Oh man, I'm not going to say that we're past that. I'm not going to say that. I believe that that story can still be told without sexualizing or perversing or, you know, making an overly gory or truly brutal version of that story. You know, like Brandon Routh's, I think was probably the most innocent since Christopher Reeve's Batman.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
The like
Kingdom Come one.
No,
it's practically. I mean, since
a little bit, yeah. I mean,
since the Flash thing, it kind of,
you know. But I'm talking about the actual Brandon Routh, like
Superman.
It
was very innocent. It was very innocent.
You know, yeah. I mean that, like I said, I think that's probably the last innocent. I
mean, I think
but it's the most violent thing that happens is like an island falls on two people. That's it.
But you have to remember also that that's like the most easily slept on Superman.
No, you're not wrong. Yeah. You're not wrong at all. He really is, and you know it's
and it wasn't even highly accepted when it came out. Everybody bashed the shit out of it.
You know, and that's a travesty, dude. You know, because that was not a bad story.
Yeah, because it was literally in respect to the Christopher Reeve Superman, and it was beautifully done, beautifully done.
You know, because right after that they took his underwear away.
Yeah, that's funny. The New 52.
Yeah,
that's funny. You know, this goes off of that question I just asked. I just feel kind of bad for the youth of our country right now when it comes to comic book telling and storytelling, when it comes to superheroes, because the stories that they would be more interested in would be like Invincible or Kick-Ass or The Boys, or I mean, even The Watchmen seems kind of a little outdated when it comes to this thing because it wasn't as brutal as the newer stuff is now. Even for what it's worth,
but the
humanization was
the undertones were like when the comedian goes to Vietnam and he rapes that girl.
Yeah. And then not only that, there's the prison scene with the midget.
Yeah, and then he kills her when he finds out that she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the girl that's killed by when Rorschach goes to the first the pedophile guy.
The little girl. You know,
but you know what? Like that was the crazy part about how Zack Snyder sold the Watchmen movie. Is he made him look like super people with superpowers, and the only person in the world that had powers was Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, Dr. Manhattan.
And that was by a freak accident. But like everyone else was just a normal human being. But of course, like you had the Spectre and Owlman like fucking throwing people through alleyways and fucking doing amazing fucking crazy martial arts stuff. And then the crazy thing was it was supposed to be like normal 1950s people, but the humanity part was supposed to be the major theme. Like all the shit they dealt with, where the movie, it's kind of more based on the superhero aspect of them becoming superheroes. Like, I don't know how to explain it, like, or them being the superhero image. Like it did give them that vibe. I kind of feel like Zack Snyder did not hit the story correctly, but it is what it is. I mean, it's still a great story.
He may not have like told the story correctly, but he told the PTSD stories for everybody perfectly.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like he did all right for what it was worth. Like the movie was great.
Yeah,
but like there were points from the comic book that he should have hit, but he didn't. And it's okay though, because it's already out there and it's still an amazing story. And they did create an amazing HBO series, the Watchmen series.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't a good movie, a fucking TV show would not have come out of it.
Yeah.
And DC would have never picked it up. So, I mean, he obviously did something right.
Oh, Alan Moore?
Yeah, Alan Moore.
Yeah, he's an amazing writer.
Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, like, I mean, we don't have a V for Vendetta series, but I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Oh, 100%.
Like V for Vendetta played off very, very well.
Yeah. Like if they made a continuation comic or some shit like that, boom.
Yeah, I think so. But you know what? Like going back to what we were talking about, like I really do feel a little bad that the youth nowadays that are into comic books have to kind of look at our adult oriented comic books now and get more into like this whole like, you know, because nowadays like even the Captain America storyline is pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Like in the sense like there's a lot of emotional content and you know a lot of you know therapy that's needed you know, for what it's worth.
But that's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. You know, you also kind of have to humanize these very, very superhuman, you know, figures, because you have to remember at the end of the day, a lot of these people are human.
Oh yeah.
You know, whether they're modified or not,
whatnot, they're still humans.
They're still human. They still have a mind, and that mind does break. It does crack. It does fracture. These people have nightmares. And I like seeing that because it shows a human side that you didn't get in the 90s sometimes, that you didn't get in the 60s sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know, you didn't see that. You know, one story that will always be very close to my heart because it humanizes, or not humanizes, but it gives a redemption by humanizing and coming to grips with the failures of him, is Blackest Night, you know, where Hal Jordan gives up being the Spectre and he relinquishes Parallax and comes to grips saying that, yep, I did that. That was me.
Yeah, he took all the responsibility.
You know, and when that happened, boom, he became a Green Lantern again.
Yep.
You know, it happens. But people have to understand that, yeah, it happens. And, you know, you can't just say that it doesn't, because that's not right. It's not right to the character. It's not right to the writer. It's not right to the reader either. You know, the reader needs to know that these people are just like them too, because that's exactly what you're trying to portray. You know, you're trying to portray little 5-year-old Timmy who's reading Superman comics saying that I'm going to be Superman one day. Well, guess what, little Timmy? Superman cries alone sometimes too.
Yeah. Hey, well, guys, what do you think out of all the things that we talked about today?
Oh, damn, man, we got deep with that.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's what we want to do. I haven't had a good conversation like this in a while, especially when it comes to comics. Guys, what did you think about the Invincible series season 1 finale? Was it amazing? Was it everything you thought it was going to be? Have you checked out the graphic novel and the omnibus and the series? If you haven't, we do have an episode a while back that we explain a lot of the Invincible story. Go check it out. It's in our archive on Spotify or on any of our different platforms that we are on. Don't forget to like us on all the different one of them, guys. Again, what I'm going to be doing this weekend, I'm going to be checking out all of the Castlevania series on Netflix. That's for sure. I do believe that's going to be Trigger's recommendation for the weekend.
Dude, sick.
And then, of course, I'll be catching up on Yasuke, which is the storytelling of the first Black Samurai. Guys, if you check it out, hit us up in the comments and let us know what you guys think about it. Yeah, and tell us anything that's coming up in the news, guys. Tell us about the video games you guys are playing right now. If you're playing Monster Hunter Rise, let us know what's up. If you're playing Warzone, let us know what's up. If you're playing Apex Legends, let us know what's up. I heard that there was some controversy with Overwatch, man, and the esports transformation of the game.
Did not hear about that.
Yeah, please, I gotta send it to you. It's pretty interesting. A lot of people are complaining because apparently they just did a big update that if you're like a casual player, it's not for you. The game is kind of like reaching more for the esports fans.
No
and
shit.
It's pushing more for like an esports game. Like they're kind of go more mainstream for esports, and they kind of like left behind all the people that have grown their system or their game up. So a lot of people that are just casual players are complaining. We got to check that out one day. We got to come back to that. We got to reach that because Blizzard's a big company, man. Especially with E3 coming up. We'll see what they're going to do. But guys, let us know what's up. Hit us up during the week. Let us know what you guys are doing. We appreciate you guys. We hope you're being safe. Remember to wear your mask. Follow all the rules. If you have or haven't gotten your vaccine, at least be safe and consider everybody else around you. Tell someone you love them. And don't forget, we care about you. To all our extraordinary listeners, we thank you guys so much for tuning in again. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys again next Friday, 9 p.m. here with the Average Boys Podcast. Laters.